Okay, I think we're live. Which is great. Hallelujah, we are finally live on the Bond Geek channel. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. If you're catching this live stream later, great for you to be here as well. For those of you who are watching live, as you know, my name is Henry. I am the Bond Geek, and welcome to the what is meant to be. Oh, God, you hear that echo? That is me checking that the audio is actually working, which I left on. So, how is everyone? Is everyone good? It's good. Do you know what? It's been a while since we've actually done a live stream on the channel. There's a lot to discuss today. A lot you guys just need to be aware of. All good things. What caused a lot of issues, but we're live, and I think most importantly as well, if you've got film-related topic, game-related topics, music, TV, video game, just put it in the comment section below. Anything on, Disney, Star Wars, James Bond, we're here to chat about it live on the channel, or just be with you here as you're getting through your day, just someone to chat to if you need to. So I think the first thing to do on this live stream is basically to talk about essentially where I've been the last couple of months, because really much after April, there was May and June that was a bit spotty about when I was actually putting stuff up live, and there was no live streams, there was nothing about that whatsoever. And I think you deserve an explanation. Essentially, everyone, it has been incredibly busy at work. Ridiculously. I mean, for those of you who don't know, I work for a company in North Yorkshire. I sell hammocks to businesses, to sell on our hammocks. Amazonas, great company. And we did a massive thing in the UK where we got actually hammocks in one of the biggest, retailers in the UK, one of the big, massive supermarket companies, Tesco, where our hammocks and like fixings were on there for a little bit. And also, we have properly officially launched Amazonas in the US. So it's been incredible. It's still doing a lot of stuff, and because of that, for a while, I just couldn't. I just had to focus on the work so much. I just didn't have time to do the channel, and it was killing me so much. I suffered for it a lot because ratings went down and all that stuff. And I was saying I am coming back. There's a lot of stuff going on, but that's how it was. But hey, it's not the end of the world. I'm back here now. This is my first proper live stream since probably April. I'm really excited to be here, thoroughly over the moon. Lots happened in the past couple of months. So yeah, a lot of really, really cool, amazing stuff. The wedding now is all paid for, which is fantastic. So looking forward to that in October. Work is now starting to calm down a little bit. Some really, really amazing stuff. I've been enjoying a lot of James Bond related goodness. I've read a couple of books. I'll tell you what I have done. A bit of a weird one, but I've got it here. I had to buy myself a new mini USB cable because my old cable broke, so I can carry on playing like Nightfire and Age Under Fire on my PlayStation 2. So that was a really, really great thing I had to do. But that's been great. Got a couple of new movies. I've been following a lot on the Writers Guild of America strike and the Screen Actors Guild of America strike. And if you have any comments about that, please put them down as well, because I'd love to talk about that, because that's like our main topic today. To give you an example of actually how busy I have been, normally I properly plan and prepare my live streams to have a bit more entertainment value to them. I try to. I've had to push this one off twice. I've literally got nothing but it's literally just me, as you see right now, talking about things and, just asking your questions and seeing what comes up. But we're going to get into the writer's strike and the Screen Actors Guild strike momentarily. But before we do that, as always on this channel, we talk about some of the things I've watched, some thoughts and opinions, because a lot of you in previous live streams, we've been talking a lot about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And I got the chance to actually go watch it. Me and my fiance, we watched it literally opening weekend. We were really excited to see it. And do you know what? We came out of it, we were really wondering, how was this film going to be? We really weren't sure. But expectations were left at the door. And do you know what? We actually both came out and thought, look, it's not Raiders of the Lost Ark and it's not Last Crusade. but I think it's better than Crystal Skull and Temple of Doom. If I had to do a ranking, I would put Last Crusade, Raiders of the Lost Ark, then The Dial of Destiny, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, then Temple of Doom. That's what I put. I think the film was better than it had any right to be, if I'm absolutely honest. It was actually a lot better than I thought possible. And do you know what? I came out of it thinking, you know what? I really enjoyed that. That's a film I'd like to watch again and again, actually, down the line when I get it digitally sometime. So that, I think, was an absolute win. I think there's no denying that. I think anything else I've watched recently, I've got out of watching Barbie a couple of times, but I think my luck is going to run out next weekend, because I think we are definitely finally seeing Barbie next weekend. Hashtag Margot Robbie for a future Bond girl, eh? For all being said, I'm looking forward to some of the cast members of that film. I'm looking forward to seeing Ncuti Gatwa, the new Doctor Who, because I've never seen Sex Education before on Netflix, so I'm looking forward to that. It's also got Shang-Chi, Simu Liu, who I think is a really good actor. So there's going to be stuff in there I really enjoy as well. So, that's just something from my side of things. But the main reason and the main topic of today's live stream is all about the Screen Actors Guild of America. Now, as you know, in America, there's 2 strikes going on for the Writers Guild of America and the Screen Actors Guild of America. Both of them, I'm going to say hand on heart. Some people might disagree, and that's all good. Your comments are always welcome here. They really are. But I am actually in favor and supporting of the 2 guilds striking. And the reason I'm doing that, it's not weird enough over the whole argument with residuals. That I just couldn't give, honestly, 2 cares about. But what I do think is important is, in the UK, you don't realize actually how lucky we are that we actually have a national health service, the NHS, that is free for us. We also have, no matter what you do in the UK, once you get to the age of 21, you are automatically on the basic national minimum living wage. So no matter what job you do, if it's full-time, you will get paid the national living minimum wage, so you can survive to a degree. We are very lucky we have that in the UK. And there's so many people in America who don't have that. They just don't have that. And I get it with, I think, actors and writers wanting, basically effectively more money just so they can live and survive. Some of you know, sorry, because I chat to you, privately. I am a big fan of the John Campea show, like Christian Harloff show and all that stuff. And obviously Chris Carr is on the John Campea show. She talks a lot about the strike from the actor's perspective, and I find it very interesting, and I do love hearing about it. But yeah, I'm really am for it. But I think one of the big questions, and I brought this up in a quick, literally off the top of my head video, literally filmed it in probably about 10 minutes, put it together in about an hour, and then literally made it go live. But how would the SAG strike and the WGA strike affect James Bond? And if I'm honest, I think it's not going to affect it too badly at the moment. I think, weirdly enough, if they had properly started, pre-production, all that stuff, pre the strike, I think this would be a much bigger issue. But it's almost like 2020 vision, because they haven't done anything yet, that I think Bond is going to be safe. I still think that Christopher Nolan, even after the mass success of Oppenheimer, is going to be directing the next James Bond. Heck, in my dream world, Nolan's going to direct a trilogy of Bond movies, but that's just me personally. I still think that's going to happen, and there'll be a question about that later. But honestly, I'm with the Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild of America. I think for better, just basic living pay, I'm all for. And look, I'll be honest with you. I'm sure a lot of you maybe have heard of AI and ChatGPT and all that stuff. Look, I'll put my hands up. Every now and then, if I'm desperate and really need some help with assistance with some basic idea, I will use ChatGPT. I hate myself every time I do it, but sometimes I do it. Sometimes I've literally just out of experimentation, literally gone on it saying, what would be great videos for my channel? I've even done that. Not actually some of my own ideas have been the better ones, and you've appreciated more. But I'm very nervous and weary of AI. I think we've seen too many things like Terminator and Age of Ultron and so many other things. Like, we know the dangers of AI, yet we still just continually seem to rush towards it. But I am someone, if I can avoid using AI in my life, I will. I have been ordered by work at times to use it for certain things, but again, in moderation. I try to be conservative about it. But I think going back to the topic at hand, the idea that a studio pays you $250 and they own your likeness for life is a bit alarming to me, which I think is a bit of a massive issue as well. But hey, once again, this is one idiot's opinion on the web. That's all you can take it as, one idiot's opinion. He's not got anyone in the WGA or SAG, he can actually, vouch for. So yeah, I mean, that's really the big main things. But on to Bond again. Normally they hire British writers like Purvis and Wade to write the scripts. Hopefully they're going to choose someone else now. They're not affected by, as far as I'm aware, so they can, just, basically start developing it. Nolan, he's part of the Directors Guild, I think, in America as well. Directors are on strike, so he can start working on it. He can actually start, writing and writing it, I think, as well. I'm not actually sure if he's part of the WGA. If you actually know if Christopher Nolan's part of the Writers Guild of America, please let me know. So I don't think it'll affect Bond too much. Maybe if it goes on a bit too long, they might have much more of a British cast than they would normally have nowadays. But yeah, I don't think Bond's going to be affected too much. I still think there's a very likely good chance we could get Bond in 2025. Looking definitely October, November 2025, but I still think so. But everyone, that is really my sort of rantings and ravings for this episode here. Obviously, I've talked about certain things on the channel. I really hope you have some questions for it. I've seen there's a couple of comments in the live chat here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through all these questions. Once we've got through all these questions, we'll probably just have our thoughts and feelings a bit about certain specific things, see if there's any more questions that come up. And if that's all we've got time for today, if that's all people want to talk about, hey, we'll just stop at that and it'll be great. As you can tell, I'm actually quite excited that we're doing a live stream again. It's been such a long time. So let's see who we start off with today. We start off with Jack from I can never say for Evansville, Indiana. There we go. Hey, Jack, as always, bud. So Jack Cameron's right. I saw Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny and enjoyed all of the action. I agree with that. I have done some videos on behind the scenes on my channel. Have you seen Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1? I have not watched Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 yet. The reason is I was actually going to see it with my parents. My local cinema shut down. The nearest one now to me is about 45 minutes away, so it's not an issue, but for my parents, it will be a full-blown hour. So there's a bit of an issue of when they're willing, when I'm free, that I can go see it with them, just finding time to make. I probably am not going to be able to see it in the cinema, but I'll probably definitely my parents will probably want me to buy it for on digital as soon as it becomes available, which I will do, and probably watch it then. Jack, have you heard that Marvel is pushing back the movies in Phase 5, including Captain America: New World Order, to next year, and also Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel to March 2024? Yeah, I did hear about that. And to be honest, again, this is one of those situations for Kevin Feige, the strike actually might prove useful. I know, don't get me wrong, he wants to be working, he wants to get the films and running, but Bob Iger has come out and said, MCU is basically completely, oversaturated. There's too much content for the MCU. And he is right, by the way. And I think they're going to use strike, you know what, move stuff back a bit, make things last a bit longer, less TV shows, more theatrical stuff, and just bring MCU, I think, more back into a controllable thing. So I think they'll actually find it useful. And so Cameron New World Order next year, I'm fine with that personally. Ghostbusters Afterlife, I'm really looking forward to the new Ghostbusters movie. Wherever it comes out, I'll just enjoy it because me and my fiance, we love Ghostbusters Afterlife. For me, it's hands down the best Ghostbusters movie. So, I'm okay with them as long as it takes. Jack also writes, have you watched Secret Invasion on Disney Plus? Because it's a really great spy series for the MCU, and it gets more exciting for Captain America 4, which also stars Harrison Ford. Yes, Jack, I have finished Secret Invasion. Now, I can't speak too much about it because, obviously, my walls are very thin. I don't want to spoil anything because my fiance hasn't watched yet. She does want to watch it. I think episodes 1 to 5 are fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. I was so engaged. And I feel the last episode, for me personally, just took a massive wrench in the MCU and completely effed it up a bit. And there needs to be some damage control now because you set something up which I think could be dangerous in the MCU of being too overpowered. And I can't really say more than that without spoiling anything. So I don't want to spoil it as well for anyone to see it. But overall, Secret Invasion is probably behind WandaVision and Moon Knight for me in the MCU TV shows. Jack Horace, I hope we get the remasters of the EA and Activision era. Actually want them to fix 007 Legends and have them put the actors for each movie and the PPK. Well, I think Jack's referring to, if those don't know, I did a video finally of something I've desperately wanted to talk about, of why I want EA and Activision remastered, or at least put on digital on the respective stores of the old video games. And I agree with him. I mentioned in my video, it's important. It's a part of the James Bond history that helps kids and young generations get engaged in James Bond. And I think it's very important to do so. And I just want all of them there. And to be honest, if I was going to be in control of a remastered 007 Legends, I would turn it into effectively a Lego game where you have all films as, chapters with different bits in it, and you get to play as all the different actors throughout the year. But that's just me. Jack Hine writes, I hope MGM and Eon decide to upgrade the first 20 James Bond films to 4K from Dr. No to Die Another Day. I'm pretty 100% sure they will, and I think that will be the very, very, very last physical release of the James Bond movies. I'm not gonna lie, I really much do like 4K movies. Maybe just because I want to see it, I do see the difference in it. But honestly, I've got the films back there on Blu-ray, except for No Time to Die, which is 4K. I am very happy with them. I've got them digitally, HD, which I'm very happy with as well. I think they look fantastic. And so, yeah, I think they will eventually will be the last one. But honestly, I'm not going to run out and get 4K versions of them personally. Jag writes, do you think Denis Villeneuve should direct Bond 26? If he was announced as the director of Bond 26, I would actually be very, very happy. I think he's a great choice for director. I think, though, he's basically he's going to be committed to completing all of Dune before he does anything else. And I can't wait because I love Dune 1. It was very slow, but I know a lot of that stuff in there was needed to set things up for not only the sequel, but future stories down the line. So it'll be worth it. But I'm really looking forward to Dune Part 2. So I think he'll just be doing that. Zachary Antar writes, hey, man. Well, hey to you too. Selling hammocks is such a specific job, lol. Stuff like that amuses me, and I don't know why. Well, actually, Zach, the company I work for, Yola, I'm the sort of head of sales to a degree. And I'm not just selling hammocks. I'm also selling other things as well to other companies. So it's actually quite exciting, really, for me. Zachary also writes, not exactly strike related, but I got one of my screenplays copyrighted last week. Congratulations, bud. Would you believe it only cost $65? I've assumed that doing this was way more expensive. I honestly didn't know how much things cost to copyright. I've never had to copyright anything yet so far in my life. So, honestly, I think it's quite good to know. And actually, I think, Zachary, you've put something out there and you should say to people, if you do something, you want to copyright it, it does not have to cost that much. And it's probably actually quite safe to do so. Jack again writes, I have graduated with my degree in visual communication. Bravo, bud. Bravo. I agree that with the actors and the writers and the executives say that they're going to keep... Hold on. Let me start this again, Jack. I graduated my degree in visual communications. Congratulations again, bud. I agree with that. The actors and the writers and executives say that they are to keep going until they're out of their homes and Ron Perlman. Yeah, I have heard basically their plan is to basically just get them so desperate for money they'll just assign to anything. And I don't know. I have a feeling it's not going to happen. I really don't. I think the actors' strike will be sorted quicker, but I think the writers' one will go on. And eventually, I think there will be a middle ground. I don't know what it is, but I think writers will get better pay, which they need. Zachary again, nothing against those who want to see a Nolan-directed Cavill and Robbie starring Bond film. Well, I want Christopher Nolan and I want Henry Cavill for limit. But to me, it just sounds so boring. I want something more unusual. Well, I get that. Zachary. I do get that. And there is an argument for it. It's like, it's so obvious it's not going to be exciting. And I do get that. I think you've got a point there. But for me, I've seen Christopher Nolan's work, and here's someone who says so prolifically how much he loves James Bond. That's the exact person I want to be in charge of the next Bond film. And when it comes to just Henry Cavill, I just think he was born to play Bond. I think he really was. Maybe he was at the wrong time, the wrong place for Casino Royale, but I think Cavill is the right moment and the right time now. But again, it's just an opinion, and your opinion is just as valid as mine. Alberto, by the way, hello, Alberto said, I too am a fan. I am fond of 007 movies, but with all the story, I know deeply there are principles that every actor has a good sense to play some different roles. Hold on, let me do that again. I too am fond of 007 movies, but with all the story, I know deeply there are principles that every actor has a good sense to play some different roles. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, some people, are better playing different roles. I mean, I've had a lot of people actually say to me, Henry, wouldn't Henry Cavill be better actually as a Bond villain? And I can't deny, Henry Cavill as a Bond villain is also quite exciting, actually. He would be very, very good at a proper dark side of Bond. So I think I get your point, bud, and I think it's very valid. Jared, I hope Dynamite Comics continues doing graphic novels on the James Bond books. Yeah, I have heard there's something about that. I've still got all the John Garner books behind me to read. So I've still got all that to do before I do any graphic novels. Lorenzo, right, greatness, amazing Bond fan. Cheers, bud. Oh, you said it twice. Thank you. Henry Cavill, he is ready to play James Bond. He's an amazing actor. Yeah, I know. You and me, Lorenzo, we've chatted about this quite a bit, actually, just about, different people we want or don't want. To me, maybe it's just because I'm older now and I'm sort of experiencing a bit more, but I swear there are so many more actually really good, great people who could take it now than there probably ever has been before. I mean, I remember in the time between Brosnan and Craig, I heard rumors of Jude Law and maybe Hugh Jackman and stuff like that. But I mean, now I'm thinking of so many people. If they announced tomorrow, this is James Bond, I would be happy. Whether it being Tom Hardy, Henry Cavill, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Aidan Turner, James Norton. I really could go on and on and on. I really could. Jack Hine writes, I want to see Nolan direct Bond 26. Also, and for the score, yeah. I want two people to do it. One is Hans Zimmer to return to do the score. The other should be John Williams. Do you know what? I've never thought of. One day, I don't think John Williams is going to do a score for Bond. I would love Hans Zimmer to continue doing more Bond scores. No Time to Die is definitely one of my favorite Bond scores, so that's a big win and yes for me. Lorenzo writes, in my opinion, I think Christopher Nolan, he is one of the most overrated Bond director. Okay, yeah, see, fair enough. See, again, we've talked about that in the past as well. He is a good actor. Him direct a Bond movie would be interesting. I got gut feeling he's going to turn it into dramatic too. I think personally, Lorenzo, that I think maybe it's what I hope. He's made comments basically we all know recently about he wants more creative control. I think if he agrees to do a complete trilogy of Bond movies, then they'll allow him to do what he wants. I would personally, if Chris Nolan's agreed hand on heart, I will do 3 movies one after the other on an average of 3 years between them, and I've got a plan for it. I would literally say you've got it. But I think Barbara and Michael still want some choice a bit over who they cast. But again, if Chris Nolan's casting Bond, it's going to be Tom Hardy or it's going to be Aaron Taylor-Johnson or someone like that. That's how it is. Terminitten, right? Just coming late. Don't know the context of the conversation, but has anyone thought Nicholas Hoult as Bond? Do you know what? Yesterday, me and my fiance, we actually watched the film Renfield, and we were talking. I told her about how actually he was up for Batman, like Robert Pattinson, and she thought he'd be all right in that. I think Nicholas Hoult, probably myself, wouldn't be a good James Bond. I don't think he has quite the dark charisma, but I do want him potentially cast in the franchise in some capacity. I think he would be really good. So it's I would say Nicholas Hoult as Bond, no, but getting him in the series, that would be sweet. Jay Highlights, I hope we get more information on the IOI James Bond video game. To be honest, I think they're probably quietly working on that, and we'll probably get something maybe next year for it. That's my suspicion. Lorenzo, I don't Christopher Nolan direct a movie. He is going to make it too dramatic. Total drama. I don't want to see that. I want to see a director who will follow the ingredients of the formula of a Bond movie. I think Christopher Nolan will follow the ingredients of a Bond movie. I think he'll make it a very Nolan James Bond film. I think he knows how to have a bit of fun with it. Again, that's just my personal opinion. I think if you look at his films, he does know when to have a bit of levity in them. So let's just see what happens. But again, it's another matter. I'm planning to do like a video, record tomorrow and start editing about what is going to be like the tonal direction of the next era of James Bond, because I really don't know. And I think there's so many different options they could potentially go with. So I'm making like a video on that. So let's see. Lorenzo writes, if Eon Productions United Artists announce a new guide tomorrow, we'll be talking about it from the day for all day of excitement. Yeah, we will be. I don't think they'll literally do it tomorrow, but you know, there will be plenty of videos, certainly from like Calvin and David Zaritsky and Joseph Darlington, myself, Dutch Bond fan Jerome. We'll all be talking about it. We'll want to talk about it. So, for me personally, there will be like 3 videos. A, talking about him. B, the previous actor's work. And C, what sort of Bond do I think this person will be? There will be like 3 different videos. They will be. Joe writes, I'd love to see a trilogy of Bond films from Christopher Nolan directed, and The Flash is an okay movie. I haven't seen The Flash yet. I enjoy seeing Michael Keaton's Batman. I've heard mixed things about The Flash, so I think it's available for digital now. It's like £20 in the UK. I'm probably going to wait till it's back down to sort of more like £8 or £10 something. I just don't feel right spending 20 quid on a film I'm not sure 100% I'm going to like. Lorenzo, I feel like Chris Nolan's a bad choice. He makes it too dramatic. Again, that's just an opinion. But I think you've got a point, Lorenzo, because we've had a very dramatic James Bond recently, and we saw in No Time to Die, they were moving back towards the fun fantasy elements of it. And I do wonder, because that was really well received by a lot of people who just watched it, will they go back in that direction? Again, it's all part of a video I'm going to do this week. And Lorenzo again writes, I want to see director pick spy thriller mix campy, serious, fun Bond movie. Yeah, I think that is what they're going to go for. It will never get to the Roger Moore level sort of camp, but it will be something sort of, maybe more of a early Pierce Brosnan level campness. But Evan, that I think is the last of the questions. We're nearing up the half-hour mark. So what I'll do is I'll probably cancel this live stream at the 30-minute mark. So if you've got any last-minute questions, please bring them in. I think Lorenzo's just written another one here. I've been watching Bond movies, pick ideal stuff. I want to see in the Bond movie. I meant to say I want to see these tropes to be in Bond movie. Yeah, I get what you mean, Lorenzo. You just want to see a celebration of the tropes and not people just trying to mix and change them. Example being, and I'm agreeing with you on this one, stop messing around with the gun barrel. It's perfect. It's a portal into the world of James Bond. Put it at the beginning. I don't care if it's just the exact same thing again and again. It's what we like. It's something that is familiar, beautiful, and something we all get so little about when we see it in the cinema or every time we watch a Bond film. It's just magical to us. Stop messing about with it. So I agree with you on that front. Evan, I think that's going to be the end of the broadcast today. Sorry, it's a bit of a quick one. Oh, hold on. Jack Hammer goes, I want the next time we call Property Lady. I actually think, that's actually a good point, Jack. And I've never brought this up before. I think there's going to be 3 possible titles that they're going to use for the next one. I really do. One is potentially Property of a Lady, because it's always nice to start off with an in Fleming unused title. For King and Country, which I think might be a title, or copying from Charlie Higson's books on His Majesty's Secret Service. I'm going to wager you right now it's going to be one of those 3 titles. I'm pretty much sure it's going to be Property of the Lady, For King and Country, or On His Majesty's Secret Service. It's going to be one of those 3 titles. I'm willing to put money on that. I really am. Well, everyone, I think that is really the end of today's live stream. Quite a nice one, actually, end on talking about the title. I might even do a video on that, actually, about what's the potential future titles for James Bond movies. I might actually make, do you know what? I actually really like the idea. I might just work on that. I might actually make that this week's one instead, because I'm actually quite excited about that idea. But I want to know, just everyone, look, thank you all for watching. We're coming back to regular live streams again on the channel. Stay tuned for the next 3 weeks of content from the Bond Geek. As always, everyone, take care.